Ready to go?
Okay, cool.
Coach, your 9th year here, all right? Take a look back and assess what's it been like to be coach of the University of Maryland lacrosse team. We know you love it. Tell us about everything.
Yeah, it's hard to believe how much has kind of happened and how long I've been here. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's been everything I could have asked for in so many different ways. Just the relationships, the people, the experiences. Obviously, some of the things we've been able to accomplish, but who we've been able to do it with, and just what this program means to so many people. To be part of that, it's second to none. It's really special. And listen, there's not a day that doesn't go by I don't appreciate the job I have.
Was there a lot of Terp love in Philly on Saturday?
It was unbelievable. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get choked up a little bit. Being there and then kind of just standing back and seeing all those kids and seeing what they've done on the field, but what they're doing in their lives. They've all got successful careers in a variety of different areas. Just to see them together and playing hard and having to come back and win a tough game, I thought was awesome. Seeing the parents, they have a tradition here where they hold up the cards and the Terps. They do that with the Whipsnakes now. So saw a lot of families and girlfriends and things like that. So it took me back, and it was really surreal, but great. And just to see them happy, it was phenomenal.
Coach, after last season and the disappointing loss to Virginia, how long do you allow yourself to reflect on that game and kind of what transpired there? And then how long do you let your team reflect on that before you guys move forward?
It's being a spring sport. Typically what happens is, if you go to the playoffs, school's over. So as soon as that game happens, usually it's somewhere else. You'll come back here, and then the kids have to get on with their jobs, if they're taking summer school, whatever it may be. So we have a day or two to just kind of, do like a inventory, talk to the guys, all right, here's what you need to know for summer, whatever it may be. We try to meet with each guy individually. So we usually are on the clock at that point, about 48 hours, and they're gone. So you do that, and then it's on the recruiting. So your attention gets shifted. Certainly you have all summer to kind of think about how the season ended, but then you reflect and go, all right, what are the things that we could do better? What are the things that maybe we could keep building on? And that's really what you're doing. You're really kind of like you've got one eye on the recruiting. You're trying to go out and see the guys that either committed to you or the guys that you're interested in trying to get down for visits. And then you're also just trying to think about, okay, we didn't go where we wanted to go. What could move the needle for us? Then you're thinking, all right, who's going to be our leaders? How do we help those guys get ready for those types of things? Who's coming in? So there really isn't much time to kind of feel sorry for yourself. Obviously one team is very excited about what the way the season ended, and everybody else wished it would have gone a little bit further.
So what are you working on in fall? What are you looking at?
We kind of do the same thing every year. We go back to, at the beginning, we assume nothing, right? We start from zero. So we really go back to fundamentals, the basics. There's a lot of individual and then team instruction, but on top of that, we've got to go back to building our culture, establishing the leadership. We don't assume anything carries over. So we go right back to okay, these are the things that we're about. We emphasize them, we drill them, and it starts all over again. I love this time of year. The late August hits, the energy on campus, just the excitement. Certainly you're missing some guys, and it's not just because they're talented guys, but you just miss some of the personalities and the relationships that you had. But you're super excited. You see these young faces, the families, even if they're not lacrosse players, just this campus has a certain energy that, at least for me, selfishly helps me every year just get really ramped up and enthusiastic for a new journey. And it, again, makes me really excited and feel fortunate for what I get to do.
How do you build the culture back up with your hall of transfers? It's a little bit different makeup of this team, isn't it?
We've had some guys, historically come and go. I think we've seen the right now we've seen the importance or just the relevance of the transfer portal. Kids are coming and going in every sport a little bit easier than ever. We've had some guys leave, we've had some guys come in. I think part of it is you're going to go through some sort of vetting process anytime you're recruiting somebody, whether it's for a job or for a guy we hope is a freshman here. Same thing as a transfer. What type of guy are they? What type of student are they? The one nice thing about transfer is that a lot of times you have film on them. So you can see them, and your kids know them, or people know them. So there's a good sense that, they may be a very good fit for your culture. They might have been just somewhere else. Or maybe they've been somewhere else and they realize, that's something I want to be part of. So, sometimes you'll have guys in your organization that are like, this maybe isn't what I want. So as much as you try to explain through the recruiting process, this is who we are and this is what we're about, it's until you really get in that spot and you're a young person, you don't know whether it's going to be something you're really excited about or it's something you want to really do for 4 years.
Does it bother you that transfers are becoming such a part of the game? Look, you've lost a lot of great guys, and you picked up a lot of great guys. Even we picked up a number 1 in Chansha. But does it bother you that that's affecting the game so much?
I think we all like a bit more normalcy. You go somewhere, you finish. But I do think it's a bit of a byproduct of early recruiting. We got caught up, and I think all of us, coaches, parents, everybody, families, there are only 70 some odd lacrosse programs, Division I. There's only so many spots. We were able to recruit younger. A lot of sports do it. I think we got involved in that, and there were a lot of young guys that made decisions that maybe at a time where they weren't ready to make the decisions, and we made decisions when the young guys were still trying to figure out who they are and what they wanted. So I think we saw the impact of that. So backing things off, I think we have the right idea by backing it off. I'm hopeful that it leads to fewer transfers, but I do think if you look at what we see more and more guys moving from one club team to another, moving from one high school to another. So to me, it's logical that you would see more transferring, and you're seeing that in college football. You see a lot of guys move from one place to another, and sometimes it's situational. You're seeing it in some of these quarterbacks. Only one quarterback plays, and you may go and battle it in preseason camp. If you don't win that battle and you're not where you want, there's other programs that you might be able to start for, and that might be a big priority. So maybe you took a swing at it, it didn't work out, and you're just going to go somewhere else. I think at the end of the day, I think all of us are educators. If someone would be happier somewhere else, I would never want somebody that is here that didn't really feel like they wanted to be here, or they weren't all in, they weren't that as passionate as they could be. And things change. Guys change their mind. What's important changes. Sometimes guys get hurt. Some things happen with their family. They want to be closer to home. Those are things that I think sometimes people don't realize.
And in regard to the PLL and having the sort of pipeline team, like the Whip Snakes, what do you think it does for the professional aspirations of the guys who you have right now that might want to go and find themselves with the Whip Snakes in the future?
Yeah, I think the guys realize that is the icing on the cake. We're always trying to get our guys great job opportunities and make sure that our guys are getting their education first and foremost. But that is a kind of icing on the cake. Wow, it would be awesome to play with my teammates again. That's what we're seeing a lot of, is the guys that I talk to, like the Bryce Youngs and Kyle Bernlors, are like, it's so awesome. Every weekend I get to see my best friends. It takes me back in time. And some of them were able to play with maybe the Drew Snyders of the world or Brett Schmidt that were just before them, and now they connect, they play, and again, now they create that bond. So I think it's pretty awesome. The fact that they're all together, to me, it was an incredible weekend. On Friday night, I got to go to the Bayhawks game and saw 7 players there. And then the next day, we had a red-white scrimmage, and then I drove up to Philly and saw 16 more guys. So I was able to connect with all those guys in a matter of 24 hours. And again, proud of them, not just because they're playing professionally, just it's awesome to see your former players. And you get selfish, you're here, you get to see them all the time, and you don't get to see them as much. So you want to see them and just check in and make sure they're doing okay. But you are kind of that proud dad, when you see them out there, just you're glad that they're happy and they're representing the university and the program so well and just doing things the right way.
And what's your sort of relationship with Coach Stignata, that you guys kind of have that same sort of relationship with each of the players, having coached both?
Absolutely. Talked to him a number of times. He told me several times during the summer I'd connect with him. How's it going? And we just talk about certain things. But he did an amazing job with that group. He just mentioned how many times he's like, I love coaching your guys. And I said, listen, so did I. So it was a lot of fun. I think he didn't get enough credit. They're down a goal late and they have a timeout. They run an excellent play, and Matt just cans a great shot. And the fact they ran that play and it was executed to perfection, that's a credit to Coach Stack. Not a lot of people are talking about it. I think what made it harder for him is I get the guys every day, and really Jim doesn't. He gets them for a couple days every week and is trying to bring that group together. So he and that staff, Mike Murphy, all those guys deserve a lot of credit for meshing those guys so well.
Coach, now that you have the time to assess the season and look back, how would you look at Anthony DeMeo's year, and what's really the next step for him?
I thought Anthony was one of the big reasons why we did so well last year. He really evolved as a Dodger, a leader, just his confidence. He had some big moments for us last year. We hope he continues to build on that. We've seen that in his leadership. He's a lot more communicative now. He's a guy that's telling guys what to do, self-confident in that way. He's setting guys up. He's a guy that on and off the field has done an amazing job for us. So our expectations is he's going to have a huge impact on and off the field for us going forward.
And do you think he'll draw more long poles this year?
That's what's nice, having so many guys back on that end of the field. You're going to get 6 out there, and you only got 4 poles, so that is a huge thing for us going forward. You got to make some choices, and I think if people put a pole on him, I still think he can create some leverage, and if they don't, I definitely feel like he can do some really good things.
So, Coach, 1 year post shot clock implementation, when you look back on it, what surprised you, and did you think it worked the way you thought it would work, and how are you adapting now?
I think the shot clock was a good thing. I think there are some things that can get a little bit better. I think if we had our druthers, and I know it's hard, I think the reset, if you could get it to a reset of a shorter amount of time, the first one you get the allotted amount of time, and if it hits the goalie, maybe 30 seconds, because you don't really have to sub anybody. Everybody's out there. I think we got to walk before we can run, but I thought it was a good thing. Personally, for me, I would love to see a 2-pointer. I think that would be fantastic. You saw that game the other day, there were a couple moments where a guy shot one from the midfield line in the PL championship and it tipped off a guy and went in. If not, that's 2 points. That would have totally changed kind of the game. And then right at the end of the third, Sergio hits a 2-pointer for the Redwoods, and that's a 2-bomb, and all of a sudden, here we go. I think it would be great. I think great for fans. I also think it would create more goals because you'd have to extend your defense, which would open up the inside, and then there would be guys taking some of those shots. Your goalie would catch it, and you'd create more transition because the goalie would catch more of those shots.
Just going back into recruiting, how excited are you to really fully integrate your #1 recruited class into this fall and in the spring?
I don't know what our guys were rated. I just like this group. Overall, I think it's a really good group of guys. I think some guys are going to step on the field a little bit sooner than others, but I like the makeup. I like their approach so far, and I think they've been helped by some older players that have really guided them well over the first few weeks. This has been a really easy group so far, and you always have an adjustment. Guys get into college, there's a lot of distractions. I haven't had any late night phone calls, so that's always a good thing. So you never know how that's going to work out, but the guys have done an awesome job so far. So we'll see. Some of the guys you'll see today, some of the young guys, their heads are spinning. They're learning new systems. Everything is faster. Guys are bigger and stronger. So the big thing we're trying to do is just reinforce their confidence and just reinforce that every guy in this team has gone through that. Just don't worry about making mistakes. Be fearless right now. Be a guy that can make a mistake and move on, because you're going to make a ton of mistakes. Don't worry about the mistakes. It's how you respond to it. I think that's a big part of fall.
Speaking of the transfers, Michael Ubriaco, did I say that right?
Ubriaco.
What does he bring to the table as far as coming over from Villanova? I know he's a coach's son. I know you love that.
Yeah, coach's son, high IQ, great motor, a tremendous stick, a guy that can push the ball in transition and create some offense. Really good off the ground, will help us on the wings of faceoffs. Defensively, knocks down passes, will be good on man down because he's very cerebral. What's up, Logan? They all want to talk to you. That's Logan McMahon, Corning's finest right there. That's our freshman goal.
Does his addition allow you to maybe move Matt Hill down to?
Gives us some flexibility for sure, and we're going to try some different things out. Matt's been a little bit limited this fall. He had some stuff that he needed to do physically in the offseason. So fall ball for us, we're always careful when guys, if they do anything in the offseason, we really are careful about how much they do in the fall. If they're veteran guys, like Roman Puglisi had shoulder surgery the last 2 years and really missed a lot of the fall, but he's a quick learner, and usually we can get guys back up to speed. So when in doubt, it gives more time to the younger guys. And we open up tryouts to everybody, so there's some walk-ons that'll be out there today that, we'll see how they do. It's a bigger group right now. We got to eventually get it down, but it's been fun so far for sure.
Coach, can you talk about Bubba's progression now? Last year took on a lot of burden taking that top LSN every time he's out on the field now. What do you see as his next step now in his progression?
Yeah, I think the best thing that happened to him was just to be around Connor Kelly and Tim Rotans, and I think they did such a good job with Bubba his freshman year, and Bubba never forgot that. So Bubba's really good at getting the younger guys and finding a way. We had a recruit on campus the other day, and one of our freshmen was like, man, I was a little bit confused in practice, and all practice long Bubba was just telling me what to do, and so when Connor and Timmy were like, Bubba, do this, hey, might want to do this in a really good way, a positive way, and a reassuring way. I think that's one thing that Bubba's trying to do. He's trying to be an energy guy for us. He's one of our vocal guys. He's a guy that I think is always kind of upbeat and positive. He reminds me so much of Colin Heacock, and I think we all feed off that, which is awesome. He loves to play. He's going to be a captain for us as a junior, and that's, I think, speaks volumes to really his impact because he's such a good leader for us.
Coach, have you learned, in lacrosse last year toward the end of the year, Towson sat on a lead with you, wound up losing. You saw the Redwoods sit on a lead, they wound up losing. People accused us of sitting on a lead against Virginia. Is it more all-out aggression this year?
Looking at our Virginia game, looking at that game, I think we had, down the stretch, I think we might have had one possession late. I went back and looked at that film. I looked back and it was more, we just couldn't get the ball. You look at the face-offs, we were like, 3 of 16 facing off in the second half, 2 failed clears, 4 penalties, a lot of self-inflicted wounds. So possession-wise, I'm not sure we had a possession under 3 minutes there.
But there's no safe lead in it.
No, and I think you got to do a good job and finish games. We had some flaws last year. I think those got exposed late in that game. We had a young defense, at times was inconsistent. We showed that. Face-offs for us were kind of hot and cold. We did not do a great job there. Clearing-wise, we were a little inconsistent, exposed ourselves, and then too many fouls, and again showed ourselves right there. So in that moment, you got to play clean games, you got to win face-offs, you got to be able to clear the ball, you got to be disciplined. And all we had to do, we had one clear there. If we could have just made one pass and gotten it out, probably a good chance that maybe we survived that game. But give Virginia credit, they finished it, and we didn't.
Video in the quarterfinals now, has that been added?
I don't think they've had that discussion officially yet. I know that's been brought up in a lot of back channels. So my gut is the capability is there, and it seems like it's kind of a why wouldn't we do it? So my gut tells me that would keep getting it pushed through, but it really hasn't been officially done yet. But I don't see any reason why not.
How many times did you watch that game?
The one time I was there for the game was probably enough, but you watch a little bit after. Again, where can you learn? You learn or you lose. So what can we take from that? What can we be better at? And again, if you don't learn from the loss, then it's a loss. And that's a moment where we can learn and grow from and try to be better from. So you can't feel sorry for yourself. There are things that we should have done better. Falls on me to do a better job with that, and I got to do a better job getting our guys ready.
Finalize your other captains, Chris?
The other 3 captains would be Jared, Logan, and Roman.
I'll get him going, guys, to film.